So thank you all for being here. It feels so extraordinary, actually, after the year we've had. And I'm just thinking back there as the introductions were being made, how extraordinary it is anyway to have a concert like this in an outdoor setting such as this. It's so dramatic, and we even have the accompaniment of seagulls. So we're going to have a most interesting evening, and it's such a delight to be here. Liz was saying earlier on, it's like her birthday coming to play. It's been such a long time since we've got to play for an audience. So a wonderful pleasure to have Jane and Gráinne here, two of the composers here in the front row. I'm really delighted to welcome them. So a very mixed program of pieces. And I'm going to have to do some mesmeric work with my pages, and if they fly off midway through,
I'll try to catch them.
we'll just do what we can do. So we have 6 pieces today. First one is Due Voci by Jane O'Leary. And I was interested to hear Barbara saying that I think you said that the Ríain Gallery was 45 years old. I think Concord is 45 years. So Jane set up Concord 45 years, and they've had Concord has an incredible impact in Irish music and in Irish life, I would say, particularly in contemporary Irish art. And this first piece is by Jane, and it was originally for alto flute and voice, but I twisted Jane's arm and said, well, how would you feel about doing a version for clarinet? So she very kindly did, and she composed it in 2018. So sometimes these take a while for them to reach their first performance. So here we are, 3 years later, the first performance of this piece. Let me just read Jane's own notes on the piece, and so you'll get an idea of it. So, Due Voci is for soprano and originally alto flute, but now for clarinet. The two voices of the title, Due Voci, two voices, are clarinet and voice. They are intertwined and often act as a single voice. There are no words, only sounds. In this way, the music can speak directly to the listener, creating different moods and feelings, sometimes surprising us in a variety of sounds. Voice is considered as a wind instrument. And just to say that yesterday we met with Jane in rehearsal, and we were talking about how important it is that a composer is very much a central part of this process of new music. And so with Jane's being on Zoom to us, coming up from Zoom from Galway, she really had a very significant input into our piece today, our performance today, and I'd like to just acknowledge that too. So Due Voci for Jane O'Leary.
next item is these days, or everyone is a child of the in-between, or everyone is a child of the in-between these days. And it is by Glasgow-based Irish composer Matthew Whiteside. This is a dramatic text by Hélène Grun. Matthew describes the piece as a depiction of the fractured experiences of displacement suffered by refugees and migrants in an increasingly globalized world. And littered throughout the piece, littered is the wrong word, but I mean, it starts timidly, brash, more brash, depressed. It's littered with these instructions to the performers of how to interpret. It's imagining you're standing at the border and you know what you need to say, but you can't find the correct words to say it. And you know you're going to be asked a question, and whether you're allowed to stay in the country depends on whether you say the correct word, and no one has told you what that correct word is. So it's really, he sent us a lovely email about it, really thinking in that kind of mindset of going from wanting to be somewhere, wanting to allow people in, but at the same time, our taxes are paying to not let people be allowed in. It's really that kind of conversation, which I think he set quite well. Paul, have you got your pages in order? And after that piece, then we follow that with a short piece by Australian composer David Lumsdaine. The pages are the most concerning for us in this concert.
Yeah,
I think I've got to say.
I got half a page here at the end, so we'll worry about that when we get to that. Okay. So Matthew, he wishes us the best of luck. He's obviously based in Glasgow. He can't come over. It's not the world premiere. He has heard the piece before. It's from 2018. Whatever
start again. Forgot, and there's a kindness in containment also. The arbitrary ways, and so after someone asked me where I was from, I was asked because I had no way of sand. Everyone is a child of the. Everyone is a child of the. Everyone is a child of the in between these days. And so you can't enter here without speaking. I lost my voice, but everyone is a child of the in-between these days. I lost my voice, but everyone is a child of the in-between these days. These days, these days, these. There is a kindness in containment also. The line in the sand. The arbitrary ways we keep. And so, where can we meet? One speech meets another, meets another. I forgot you have paid for this too. You paid for this. You paid for this to the arbitrary ways where one speech meets another on these days. On these days. On these days. Of thee. Of thee. There we go. Yeah. The fire in leaf and grass, so green it seems each summer, the last summer. The wind blowing, the leaves shivering in the sun. Each day, the last day. How red salamander, so cold and so easy to catch. Dreamily moves his delicate feet and long tail. I hold my hand open for him to go. Open each minute the last minute. Our next work is another world premiere. It is by Irish composer Gráinne Mulvey, who is also sitting with us today. So we're delighted you were able to come up. She wrote this piece within, without, especially for myself and Paul to perform at this evening's event. And as with all her works, she's really exploring the vast range of sounds that we can make. There's lots of breathing, there's lots of we call vocal fry. It's almost kind of like this kind of groaning effect, which she's then asking Paul to mimic that on the bass clarinet. But it really builds up. When we rehearsed it earlier, I hope we'll get the same effect, but there's this really kind of expansive, loud section, and it was just reverberating around the whole space. So I think whether you have that in mind, but this actual space seems to be so perfect for this piece, with just this joyous moments of bursting out with energy. So I've been working with Gráinne since about 2008. So we've worked extensively together, and I'm thrilled tomorrow night to be premiering another piece by Gráinne called Great Women. It's already been filmed. It's one of those things we've all got accustomed to. It's within the Dublin International Chamber Music Festival. So live, well, not live because I did it 3 weeks ago, from Dublin Castle, the State Apartments. So we got a second piece by Gráinne if you would like to listen to that tomorrow evening. And this one has got more pages than last, are we?
This one has a lot of pages.
And Paul is now on bass clarinet. Sorry, I didn't mention that. There's been a swap of instruments as well as everything else.
Okay, our next piece is by James Wilson. James was a beautiful man, actually. I think it's reasonable to say James is a beautiful man, and by which I mean he was extraordinary, seems a strange term to use nowadays, manners and decorum and bearing, and he always looked incredibly elegant, and he's a great friend of ours in Concord. He lived in Ireland for 50 years. He was in the British Navy during the Second World War, and after the Second World War he loved Ireland, he came to Ireland, and he lived here for 50 years. In the early part of his career as a composer, he wasn't played a whole lot. There wasn't a lot of contemporary music happening in Ireland for about 15 years, but he hung in there, and he was a prodigious composer, composed so much music. He composed 7 operas, and when he was passing away, he was in the middle of writing his 8th opera at 82 years of age. He also wrote 3 symphonies, lots of choral works, and vocal works, songs, and chamber music. And this particular piece, the Windhover, now we're just going to do one of the songs from these 3 songs with the words by Gerard Manley Hopkins, was written for soprano Jane Manning. And Jane Manning was extraordinary British soprano, and unfortunately she passed away earlier this year in late March. She was married to the composer Anthony Payne, and he passed away a month after her passing. They apparently were inseparable in life, so I guess they move on. But I recorded this piece with Jane Manning with Concord. We recorded James' music, and so this is the Windhover, and it refers to the very first line. It refers to waking up in the midsummer, and I guess we're aware that midsummer is on its way about 3 or 4 days from now. So Jim Wilson's Windhover, second song.
The
to the fringe of a fingernail held to the candle. Oh, peering of paradisiacal fruit, lovely in waning, but last alas, stepped from the stone, drew back from the barrow of dark Manafo, the mountain. A cusp still clasped him, of new glad fringed him not quite utterly. This was the prize, the desirable sight. Unburnt, presented so easily, parted me leaf and leaf, divided me eyelid and eyelid. Of slumber. Thank you all for coming this evening. It has been so inspiring to spend time with you all. I didn't quite realize how much of an inspiration the audience is. I think it's lovely to perform for people. And just as soon as I did my first live stream concert, maybe a month before, I was like, well, it's not just that people watch me, it's I see people understanding something in a different way to how I'd understood it. And it feeds into my next moment, but it feeds into my next performance and my next song. So thank you all so much for coming. Our final work this evening is End with Words of Hope, which Ailís and Ríain wrote for our very first concert together, which was part of Béal Festival in 2010, which I believe some of you were at as well, which is lovely to see you again. This is a short cycle of songs for voice and clarinet, which sets 4 texts taken from the tombstone inscriptions and translations of Sappho and the Greek anthology. And Ailís mirrored these texts with texts of her own, written in direct response to the original. Ailís is a really interesting composer. I think she's originally from Cork.
She is, yeah.
She is, okay, good. She's living in Todmorden in north of England. And she is a published playwright as well as a composer. And she very much, we've had a lot of conversations over the lockdown. She's a really, really interesting artist. And she really thinks deeply about the world and about people. She has a very detailed understanding of so many different types of people, which I find that fascinating about her words, her music, but also just the conversations that we've been having through lockdown. So this is End with Words of Hope, which has a number of solo movements for both Paul and for myself, and some spoken as well as sung material. Let all the world be still. I will end with words of hope, for they are ours to hear, for they are ours to share, for they are all we have. Let all the world shed tears. I begin with words of ear, yet they are good to hear. Yet they are good to hear. Yet they are good to hear. In scarlet shoes, dusk like a lover lays before me. Falls upon me, falls upon me in gold sandals, dawn like a thief falls upon me. Falls gold, dawn falls upon me. There is light hurting my eyes. He left without a word. There is a light. There is a light blinding my eyes like the highest Night opened my eyes and placed silver stars in my dreams. Sleep, black sleep, black sleep. Night closed my eyes and then poured black sleep upon my lids, upon my lids. Black sleep. Let all the world be still. I will end with words of hope, for they are ours to hear, for they are ours to share, for they are all we have.